Awesome. Well, we welcome to the Athletes Podcast 2015 and 2019 CrossFit Challenge competitor, Joe Scali. Thanks for coming on the Athletes Podcast, man.
Thanks for having me.
So we're excited to bring you on. It means a lot to me coming back to White Rock, British Columbia, where you train, where you reside currently. What's it like life on the West Coast right now? Tell us a bit about how the month of August is now going to treat you.
Well, the weather's been great, so it's pretty good. With the COVID situation, it's not as bad here on the West Coast. I have friends on the East Coast saying that, it's a little bit different out there. A lot of gyms are just opening up, or if they're not even open in the Toronto area, I have lots of friends out there. And being in the gym industry, I have lots of connections all over Canada. And it felt like BC was like the first place to open. So I'm pretty blessed to be over here. The cases are low, a couple spikes here and there. But so far, BC's been doing a pretty good job. But again, it comes down to the numbers. We're less populated like the East Coast. Weather's good. Gyms are open. So I'm pretty happy right now.
I love it, man. So tell the listeners a bit about who you are, what you've become as an athlete, because you were a pretty sizable hockey player growing up, dominating in the BCHL, playing at a high level, moving on to Cornell University. Now you've transitioned to CrossFit and that sport. Tell us a bit about how you came to be the athlete that you are today.
Well, I owe credit to my first trainer. I think I was 13 years old. I did the most insane stuff as any 13-year-old. Like, what is this guy doing? So I owe a lot to him. Rick Dietrich, one of my first trainers. So he really scoped my passion for the fitness at the age of 13. That's where I became an average hockey player, and went like this the next year. People are like, what the hell? Like, right? They're like, what just happened? I think that back in the day, training off season wasn't like it is today. Like today's kids it's a way different. Like we trained back in the day, you would get so much better. Everyone trains now, so it's really hard to get that competitive edge. But I think that was the majority, what kind of scope or shaped like what I am today or our business or anything like that. I love fitness and I love working out. And I always kind of say, I was always really good at working out. That's what got me to like the hockey. And then eventually, you can only work out so good. Can't score goals in the weight room.
It's true. I was just listening to a podcast about how there's a lot of athletes now that think that they train their sport day over again and again, and they expect to become amazing. But what you're doing in the weight room isn't necessarily where you need to be putting all of your effort. You got to be putting all of your effort into when you're on the ice playing your actual sport, right?
Yeah, and I think that's what a lot of parents or hockey players are missing these days. I played so many sports growing up. I played soccer, I played basketball, I played rugby for a year, I played, hockey, BMX, skateboard, snowboard. I played so many sports, and I think like the sports is what makes an individual very athletic and will actually make them a better player in their sport. A lot of these days, you probably see this, a lot of kids will just do hockey specific off-ice training, and that's all they do. And this is the age of 9. They don't play another sport. They just stick with that sport, right? So it doesn't make them a dimensional athlete. And you see that all over now. That's currently, and it's like, why is this kid so much better? When he's like 15. Well, let's just look at his sports background. Look where he played, because every sport requires a different, set of skills, right?
Yeah, my buddy Jake Fletcher actually told me to ask you about how you like training the hockey boys.
Oh, I love it. I love talking trash to the boys. It's good. Fletcher's awesome. I call him old Fletcher. I'm training him at 12 today. I call him old Fletchkin. Did you play hockey with him?
He and I grew up together actually in Peach Arch back together in elementary school, high school. We were good buddies all.
Oh yeah, no, he's a good guy.
So on the topic of training sports-specific groups, do you enjoy that, or is there an approach that you have specifically? Or are you trying to just create well-rounded athletes then?
It depends on the season and everything like that. I kind of, I do add a little bit of the CrossFit flavor to it, but I don't think CrossFit training styles is, ideal for hockey players. You take like an athlete and you just give him, he's not worked out, you just give him CrossFit programming, he just comes to my CrossFit classes, he will get better. Yes. Is there a better way to train him? Absolutely. There's always a better way to train someone, everyone's individualized, everything like that. CrossFit as a general preparedness program gets you well-rounded, right? But when it comes to hockey, especially when you're leading up to the season, or, you're progressing through the off-season training, you want to get them more specific. You want their energy systems more specific. You want the drills more specific, getting them ready for their season, right? You don't want to just have a general preparedness program leading up to their seasons. Does that make sense to you? You need to
100%.
kind of like build into it.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that'll jump into a program and expect to see amazing results without getting that foundation that's required to do a CrossFit, for instance, right?
Yeah, and it's the general preparedness program is good at the start of their off-season training. This is the longest off-season training these kids will ever get. They always say this has been so long. They're usually starting to leave by now, but some of the pro guys I train, they're not leaving till December. Or Fletch, he goes to Canadian college. He just told me that his season not starting until January, so he might not even go until January to school. So he's got a long off season with me. A lot of Wednesday conditioning with me.
There you go. Yeah, and exactly. That's one. I think there's a lot of people. It's going to separate the herd. That's for sure. As far as even the guys in the NHL playing right now, who's putting the effort over this quarantine, who's stayed in shape, who's been putting in that work, because there's a lot of guys that your true work ethic will be showcased whether you went through it or not during this off time, quote unquote, right?
100%. And in a lot of today's age too, there's it goes both ways. A lot of kids will be like, look at this guy, look at his body, he doesn't look like he trains, or he doesn't train, or look the way he trains. Everyone's different. And for a rule of thumb, it's like if you work out and you build lean muscle in your legs, let's say for instance, you're going to skate faster. That's just science, right? You can work on all the edging you want, or you can do all this skating practice and be the best skater in the world. Hey, maybe grow a little bit more muscles in the leg, you're going to skate faster, right? Get a little more power through Olympic lifting. You're gonna skate faster. You're gonna have more power output. So a lot of people don't see the whole picture, right? They just think that they have to just do all nice. I don't have to work out that hard. I can just kind of go through the motions. But at the end of the day, if you build more muscle, you're going to be better. The leaner you are, the faster you're going to be, right? If you're carrying extra body weight, why wouldn't you want to be leaner? Why wouldn't you want to be faster, right?
Yeah, it's to your point. That's the way the only way you're going to get better is by training and working, putting in that extra effort. I got to bring up your 2015 Murph challenge where you got off to a hot start. You ripped a 540 mile with the 20-pound vest on. I bring this up because our 41st episode, Tyler, who just broke the world record for Murphs in 24 hours. The guy completed 6.
Crazy. I saw that on your Instagram.
Right, so like his was ridiculous. The fact that he can do that, like running off white rice and mass gainer. But what was it like? The 2015 CrossFit competition?
I don't know. I was so excited. I liked that workout a lot. And, it was my first year at the games. So kind of a little bit of a rookie mistake. But I would not have changed the run up. I'm a really good runner. I've always been a good runner. Like I've done, I think, like 3 under 5-minute miles. So just no vest on, right? So I've always been a good runner. That's my max, though. That or 5K, that's it. I can't go any farther than that.
You're a hockey player. You're not supposed to go long distance. Come on.
Yeah.
It's overrated.
No, I mean, I like running. I like running, but it's got to be short, right? It's got to have other components to it. I went off normal pace. I had my watch. I've done this like millions of times, so I had a strategy going on to it. So how fast I was pacing my mile, to how many reps would I do, like how much rest in between pull-ups, how much rest in between push-ups. Boom. I get to the pull-up bar. The bar is so freaking hot. Like I'm talking about the hottest thing you've ever felt in your life. Every single athlete that year had all their skin missing from their palms. That's how hot the bar was. And I never really had like the crazy grips. I just had tape on my hands, right? I didn't have all the crazy grips. Now everyone's got the grips. Even I do. I haven't ripped my hand in like years. But back then, like literally you just look at the bar, you rip your hands. But then put a freaking flamethrower on the bar, heat it up for a bit, and then do it, right? I didn't train for that. I wasn't ready for that. I wasn't ready for that bar to burn my skin. I could cook freaking eggs on that thing. And then
that's a tough thing to be prepared for.
Fuck! I wish I had temperature. They actually showed temperature on there. It was like on the field, it was like 42 or something.
Jesus. Because where was that?
Yeah.
Was in Dubai.
What's that?
That competition in 2015, where was that at? That was in
California.
I was in California. Okay. So you just competed in the 2019 ones as well. How are you feeling? Like what's the time process like? Obviously right now with everything going on, it's up in the air, but how are you feeling with your training? Obviously you're still got a couple years left in the tank. I see the Instagram
Yeah.
stories and putting up.
Yeah. So after 2015, tore my shoulder on the Murph. And that was the old hockey injury. I've had labrum tears and rotator cuff AC tears. And that workout just kind of overdid it on it, right into push-ups. I had surgery 2 years after that. It takes a long time to get surgery out here in Canada. After I got the surgery, then felt pretty good. 2019, I had it in 2018, the surgery. 2019, a team from Montreal called me up. They're like, hey, you want to jump on a team with us to try to make it for the CrossFit Games? I was like, yeah, this team is really good. They came top 10 last year. So I was like, perfect. Flew out to Montreal, trained with the team. We went to Brazil, won the competition, made it back to the CrossFit Games. It was a lot different that year around than the previous years, the way it was the setup. But it was a great experience to go back on a team. It was like almost like playing hockey with the boys. Well, there's 2 girls on our team. 2 girls that are a lot fitter than me too. And, you know, it was probably one of the funnest times, like going to the hotel, practicing the events with, you know, like running through the events in our heads as a team. There's a lot of teamwork. There's a lot of strategy. You know, it's not just yourself and you know what you can do. You need to know what Manon on my team can do, or Lorraine or David on my team. How, like, what are his strengths? What should we break them up, the reps up into? And they spoke French. And well, they spoke English too, but they would count in French, and I'd yell at them like, "What the hell are we talking about? I'm West Coast Canadian." But
You didn't take French immersion back over there in BC?
what's that?
No French immersion for you? I bet you your girlfriend there has it going to EMS French immersion. Was she taking that?
No, she didn't do French immersion, dude. I struggle with the English language.
Fair enough. Hey, you know what? Everyone's got their strengths and weaknesses. There's a lot of people that couldn't hit your 465 max squat, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I can count weights on the bar. If you loaded a bar and just put random plates on the side, I can count it for you like that. Okay.
Like that,
I can count inside my head how many push-ups you're doing without even saying it. Like looking from the corner of my eye, I can see how, you know, it's a good skill. But English is out of my scope of practice.
Hey,
or French, definitely.
You identify your strengths and weaknesses and stick to your strengths. So
2020, what is I think this is the whole question you're asking me. 2020, what's different now? The COVID has kind of crushed a lot of things, but looking forward to next year. I actually turn 35 for that category, for the masters category. So there's categories, right? I was competing with the Young Bucks in 2015. You know, going on towards 2019, I was what we call just an individual competitor. So, you know, as a 35 or 34-year-old or 33-year-old, my training age, at my peak, I'm slowly going down here, right? It's going to be hard to keep carrying up. I can get better in certain aspects, but as for the majority of stuff, my peak is like 20 something years old, right? So it's just trying to hold on to that downward spiral, slow it down a little bit, you know, push back on it, because I am going down a little bit. My strengths are going down. But there's certain aspects where I can get better. I can get better through mobility. I can get better through energy systems. You know, be just cleaner reps, be more efficient with my reps, waste less energy, nutrition, sleep, stress. Those are things I can kind of control. But, you know, I can't control everything else as you age. My hair is looks pretty good though. You know, no gray hairs.
part of the natural life cycle and process. Are you doing anything as far as trying to mitigate the downturn? Are you using the sauna? Are you using different recovery techniques? What's your nutrition, sleep? You wearing a Whoop watch? Like what's going on as far as different methods you're using?
As for like different methods that I kind of incorporated with, my wife probably watches like, you're an idiot. We have a sauna. I need to use it more. She's always telling me use the sauna. Uses it every night. She like is like the Wolverine, man. She'll be like literally like injured one day, use the sauna every single day. She'll be fine the next day. Well, I'm like crippled. My legs are sore. My everything's just tight, right? We do have a massage gun, but again, that's just temporary. That's just like, let's just rub the outside a little bit. Oh, I feel a little good, right? As for like tools and stuff, I use this thing called a fascia edge, which is a muscle scraper a lot. You'll see me like I'm training clients. I want to scrape my body and stuff like that. That works pretty good too. Again, that helps with adhesions and before I work out, so I have a little bit better range of motion versus I'm so strict and tight. Nutrition. My wife's a nutritionist, so she makes the food. I help make the food, but I cut it up, right? She does all the other cooking. So my wife's a nutritionist, so you won't see sugar in this house. It's not like we don't indulge once in a while, but the house is a lot of clean food. She helps me. So I'm like, hey, Sharon, I'm a little achy today. Well, she's like, okay, let's look what you've eaten the last couple of days, or how much water you drink today. I'm like, so she kind of helps me with that protocols. Everything from sleep management. She's always on me, like turn your phone off at like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night. She's like, put it away. Blue light blocker glasses. We got everything. We're all like the biohacks here. So our sleep's been great, right? And that's been a huge component of recovery, and obviously slowing down the aging process. Put on some filters on your phone, like good filters, so you look younger. That helps too.
The sense of humor that you bring to the social media game is much appreciated. I think that's one of the things that's nice now about social media and being able to showcase who you really are, your personality. That's what Fletch and I were talking earlier. I didn't even know that you actually were his trainer. So when it got brought up in combo, I had to ask him, if there was any dirt, and he just said, man, he's the nicest guy. He's the easiest person to talk to. So kudos to you for being a role model for those boys going through this, going through quarantine as well, because it's not easy, right? No, yeah. I mean, the quarantine thing is really hard, especially a lot of hockey players, right? It's everyone thinks it's like, the gym is it's just the gym, but it's like, it means a lot to these kids. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to our members that, struggle. And they don't realize without the gym, the mental aspect of it, right? It's not just like feeling good physically, but mentally, getting away, socializing with, our gym's a huge community. So you take that like part that they've been there for like 6 years and take that away, it takes a toll on people. But, the hockey players and stuff like that too, it's just so fun to train them. And when it goes back to like social media, I could probably leverage a little bit better and stuff like that too, but I like to have fun on social media. I like to make fun of people. I like to joke around. I like to get made fun of, like I keep it light because in today's world, it's just so fake, right? Everything, well, I'm not saying if you know who you are, if you have a fake Instagram, but you know what I mean? Like people are they're being someone they're not, right? And that's one thing, right? And I think it's just, this is who I am, and that's who I am on Instagram, right? I mean, I joke around a lot, but at the same time, there is a serious part to me, but I like to keep it fun, positive, and that's always what and everyone I train, they kind of they push that on me too as well, and it's just like a snowballing effect of positivity and fun. Life's about fun, enjoying it. It's so true, man. And, especially that's where that fun factor is removed when you're not around those people, when you're isolated for 2 months, when you can't lift weights. I mean, there's the saying, "I'm sharpens iron," and it never resonated with me until this quarantine where we weren't allowed to do any specific weight workouts. You weren't able to go to those, feel isolated, and you lose that sense of camaraderie that a lot of people take for granted in the gym. And like to your point with Semi-Annual Athletic Club, which you run, it's got to be difficult for you to manage that and try and get people to make sure that they're coming back and recognize that this is why you were feeling so good when you right? Yeah, no, and we have such a good staff. All our coaches are amazing. We have a full-time manager too, Eric Sugawar, who leads to our facility as well, and my wife too. So we have a really good my father-in-law too, he's amazing too, but all of us do such a good job of communicating. And when the gyms reopened, it was like we never closed. But that's a huge component to our community. Like our community was so supportive. They didn't cancel their memberships. They try to support us in any way possible too. So if we didn't get the support, it could have been a little bit uglier, especially as gyms close in.
I know a lot of gyms in this world right now are just they're struggling, right? You see global gyms close around me. You see small time gyms close around me. CrossFit gyms closing and stuff like that too. Just, this is, they're just, gyms are just about to open. Boom, COVID hit. And they had this big overhead cost. They have their debt, they had to, it's been a struggle in the industry for sure.
Yeah, well, and more people are recognizing that, maybe they don't need to go to the gym to get the best workout possible for them, or they've recognized that body weight workouts can do them justice just as much. And so there's a number of factors. I hope that for everyone's sake that, we can get back to gyms, people can get back to living their normal lives with their routines, listening to podcasts, there's a lot of factors in there, right? So people got knocked out of their routines, and now it'll be interesting to see how people recover moving forward. Tell me a bit about being at Cornell for 4 years, man, playing puck on that squad, playing with guys like Ben Scrivens. What was it like?
Who's Ben Scrivens?
I'm attendee, so I have to go with I got to go with the goalies, man.
Oh, you guys are weird. You guys are all weird.
It took you 20 minutes to figure that out?
I could freaking, oh man. Cornell days, they're great. Everyone always, the guy from Andy from The Office?
No,
Andy,
didn't watch.
You ever watch The Office?
No, I'm terrible.
You don't watch The Office?
Pop
You
culture,
gotta cancel the Zoom call.
Man.
Yeah, I'm out.
I know what you're talking about. It's okay.
See, thank you, man. How do you not know The Office? Anyways, one of the guys always says, "I went to Cornell. I went to Cornell. I went to Cornell." Heard of it? Ivy League. So I haven't cut the cord, and it's been a long. I graduated 10 years ago, but I still haven't cut the cord. It's been great. It was an awesome experience. If I were to go back, I had the opportunity going to the WHL route. Right? It's like, would I go there or would I go back to college route? I go back college route 100 times, right? I think I had great experience, great partying, great trainers there. It was hard. You had to balance school, hockey. I mean, I'll give you a day example. What we had to do, we had to wake up at 7 a.m., go to the gym for 7 a.m., train for an hour and a half. Then after that, we go to some classes. Then we come back and we have our first skate of the day. We have to go do our skate about an hour and a half. Then we get off the ice, rest a little bit. Then we go back on the ice for the special team. So right there we have 2 hours in the morning, dry land. Then we have 2 hours. We have 6 hours of the day is almost just in training. Then we have to do something called homework, and yeah, that was great. And then we had to do this thing called sleep, and so it was you had to jam pack your schedule every single day. It was awesome. I think it teach me a lot about time management, but also hard work, because the school was not easy there, right? And there's times where I was like, holy shit. I remember calling my mom saying, "Mom, I can't do this." First year I was crying. I was like, "Mom, I cannot do this. This is so hard." And she's like, "Suck it up." My dad's like, "Grow upset, let's go." Right? No, they're really supportive. I love my parents, but they helped me get through that first little bit. I remember I didn't know how to I was 2 years out of high school. My first class, I had 2 exams when I showed up. You're supposed to read 2-3 chapters. Like, what the hell is this? It's organic chemistry. It made no sense. It was a rough first semester, that's for sure. I was, going from 2 years in junior hockey, waking up in the morning, going to the gym, playing video games, and then going and play hockey. That's what I was doing in Port Alberta, right?
Wrapped up in 10 words, eh?
Yeah. Chell. We played some NHL in the morning, then go play some hockey and go work out and come back and do the same thing over and over again for 2 straight years.
Damn.
I probably should have done some school, but I got to make sure that I keep the priorities.
Time, right? Then you go and get your education, go down to Cornell and live it up for 4 years down there. A PK specialist, I might add. You see, you were used to.
I think that's what they call bad hockey players.
Pardon?
I think when they call players that can't score, I'm pretty sure they call them PK specialists.
Well, I was just going up to Cornell.
Chase specialists.
Dump and chase. There we go. Well, it's interesting because you go from playing hockey at such a high level, and a lot of people, if they don't make it or don't go to that next level of their sport, they tend to fall off or tend to lose focus, not necessarily continue on with their fitness journey. You went to the opposite end of the spectrum and just continued on with CrossFit and kept trying to dominate your sport, right? And it's pretty impressive now to see 10 years later, to your point, and you're still at the peak of your performance, really, and just managing that. So kudos to you for keeping up with that, because it's not an easy thing to do over a decade.
But you know what, man? Looking back on it right now too, I'm in better shape now than I was really good shape then. We had this at Cornell, we had like the top 3 guys on the hockey team make the honor wall at the gym, and you had to do body fat testing, shuttle runs, bench press at 225, vertical jump test. Like we had to do all this stuff, and then so I've always been the top there. But if I go back on it right now and did it, I would absolutely destroy it. Like I'm so much fitter at 35 than I was at 20.
Does that have to do with the Bud Light?
Bud Lattes, yes.
Bud Lattes.
White Claws and Bud Lattes sponsor me. I'm right here. Put that plug in there. I want to get sponsored by White Claws. I want to be the first athlete too.
Let's do it. I say when I come back to BC, we do a workout at Semiami Athletic Club, and we'll make sure that it's fueled by White Claw.
Yeah, but on a serious note, it's just it's crazy. I'm stronger now. I'm way more mobile. I got more mobility. I played hockey the other couple of skates. My lungs bleed a little bit, but my legs feel great. Everything feels good. And going back on that, I wish I put a little bit more effort into not just training. I trained hard. I trained really hard, but everything else in life, right? I had too many Bud Lattes back in the day, right? Now I drink maybe once a month. It's not it just is. I feel better when I don't, right? I perform better. I work out better. I sleep way better. My hormones are better. Everything's better. Alcohol is, you can look at it in a real scientific standpoint, it's absolutely dog shit, right? It's not good for you.
Poisoning your body.
I still like to have socials. I still like to have fun. But you know what I mean? I wish I had that priorities right now, kind of been a little bit more mindful of it. Not cut it out, just be more mindful. And not drink 24 beers a night, maybe drink 12 beers a night. You know what I mean? Mix in a couple waters. I bet some of the boys are there's no way this guy drinks 24 beers. Yeah, I probably didn't. But I was just saying, right? I wish I had prioritized my health a little bit more now, or back in the day, I do now. I would have been a way better hockey player. Could have probably still been playing. Probably not, but
we'll go with it. We'll push along. That's one of the things. So I just bought a Whoop strap, and it came in, and I've been tracking all the data. And man, it's incredible what it's giving you as far as heart rate variability, as far as how much strain you're putting on your body, the sleep and data, the analytics. I'm loving it. I'm only 2 days in, so I'll probably the honeymoon stage will wear off after a bit. But I love being able to look at it and see exactly where my body's at, how it's performing, whether I should be resting, whether I should be getting out and doing a bit more of a workout, because it's a guessing game if you don't do that, right?
Yeah, and my wife wears what's the ring? What's the ring called?
Oh,
is it ring?
Do you know what that was?
Aura ring? I don't know, something like that. Yeah. Anyway, she wears the ring for heart rate or rate variability, sleep, all that kind of stuff to check your sleep. Is the Whoop on the wrist?
Yeah, the Whoop's on the wrist right here.
Yeah, I've been looking into getting one of those for myself because
we got an athletes podcast one. We'll get you in. You can dominate us for months on end.
Okay, let's go. I think I should get that. My wife's been talking to me about getting that. I mean, it's at this time too, if I want to keep competing, it's just I got to find every single, not loophole, but any competitive edge rather than just jacking myself with a needle. You know what I mean? So you got to get as close as you can to that, right? You got to get as close as you can to and there's a lot of things that you can do. There's infrared saunas. There's making sure you have proper supplementation, sleep, stress. But end of the day, if you don't have something to track it, I can just wake up and be oh, I think I had 3 hours of deep sleep. I had this is how long I was in my REM cycle. I don't know that, man. I don't know my heart rate variability. I don't sleep like this at night or whatever, So I think it is crucial to have some things that can kind of monitor and show you what you're doing wrong. Why didn't I sleep well last night? Oh, let's track back on I had coffee at 3 p.m. No shit, you dumbass. You know, sorry, can I swear?
100%,
But
100% recommend.
so you can see like, you know, trends of, okay, this week I kind of ate like this. This week I kind of ate like this, and I felt way better. This weekend I drank 13 White Claws. You know, this weekend I didn't, and now Monday I trained way better. So you can kind of track, you know, things that you can kind of improve on. So I think it's huge. Oh, what we got?
Yeah,
There?
is this the Aura ring you're talking about?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the one
so
my
this is the
wife
one
wears.
I'll track and sleep, deep sleep, and all these. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
awesome.
So she uses that a lot too. You know, and it's almost like a game. If you're competitive, you want to get the best sleep, right? If you're a hockey player, you want to be the best. You know, you want to play the best every game. You're competitive. You want to, you know, compete against your friends in the gym or wherever like that. So having a little something that shows you, oh, I need to get better sleep, you know, it actually works. And I think, you know, a lot of the people in this world just think it's all about working out every day, but there's so many other variables, right? You know, how's your stress life, right? Like how do you manage your stress? How do you fuel yourself? You know, do you just follow a sample macro based program? Are you just completely in a deficit trying to lose weight and you're not losing weight? Like everyone's different, and, you know, everyone's individualized. And I think like with those little apps can really like point out, right? You can tell someone, oh, just, you know, wear blue blocking glasses or shut off your screens at night. But, you know, maybe so many different other variables that's ruining their sleep. Maybe it's the stuff they're eating. Maybe they're drinking coffee. Maybe, you know, too late. So you got to really look into all the different aspects.
100%. I think if you're serious about your fitness and you're dedicated to refining your craft, which is your body essentially, then not doing and not tracking these kinds of what you're putting in your body, what you're doing outside of the gym, then you're ignoring a whole other slew of opportunities for you to grow and develop as an athlete, right? So that's why I did it. I'm excited to start this challenge thing where you can create a group. So anyone who's interested, if once you get that bootstrap, we'll send you a code, and then we'll get linked up, and we can compete from across. I'll be fired up because I want to make sure that I can dust you in all three of the categories: sleep.
Let's go.
Yeah, I'm a competitive individual, and that's one of the things with the podcast. Talking with all these athletes, I got to reap what I sow here a bit.
Yeah. What do you guys use? Is the gyms open up in Toronto right now in your area?
Yeah, well, so most are just entering into stage 3. So gyms are opening up. We're basically getting to work out. It's limited as far as, you know, it depends on what the staff is like and training time is. Obviously still not ideal though. We're still waiting for that full, and who knows what ideal is or what normal is going to look like here a couple months. We don't know, right? No one knows. That's the unfortunate part.
Yeah.
But you guys obviously look like you're doing well, and and I'm excited to see the results in that. What's next as far as you've been competing 2015, 2019 in the games. What's holding you back from getting to that podium spot? Who else is competing in that West region that keeps beating you?
Well, in terms of individual, I think my years are over in the individual. I'll be more in the individual masters, which is going to be 35 to 40. And the online competition to qualify for that starts next year in February or March. I think they pushed it back because of COVID. Then after that, you have to do another Masters qualifier, which is a series of 5 to 6 workouts. It's over a course of a weekend, and then you have to send your videos off to HQ. And if you make it top 10 of the 35 in the world, go to the CrossFit Games. So that's my goal this year, coming up, or the next year, hopefully. And there's this guy named Nick Urankar, crazy fit dude, and he won it last year, and, you know, he's one of my friends too, and I already told him I'm coming from this year as a master. So that will be the guy. Like, when you look at a 35-year-old master, is, you know, he's crazy fit. I mean, he's super strong and he's super athletic. So I think like that will give me a challenge to beat him. Back in my other younger years, like 2014, 2013, 2012, 2015, all those years, the guys were to beat in the West, in the Western Canadians. I'm not going to talk about the Americans, but the Canadian side would be Brent Fikowski, which is, you know, he's super famous now, doesn't talk to me anymore, but we're good friends growing up, and, you know, we competed against each other since 2013 to 2018. So he was one of my competitors, him and Mitch Bernard. Jonathan Gibson, guys out in the West, like Jaron Meredith, all those guys, Lucas Parker. Those were like the top guys, you know, when we're all young back in the day. Fikowski's still getting better. All of us are just like, meh. Actually, Lucas Parker's pretty good too. I don't know, man. Sorry if I'm chirping you guys and you guys watch this. But fuck you. Can I say that?
Yeah. So Connor Bell, who's a listener, one of my good buddies.
Connor Bell, no way.
No, Connor Bell. But I'll go with whoever.
They said Connor Bell. I was like, man, or he's actually an Ontario boy. Okay, continue. Sorry.
No, that's okay. Shout out to Connor Bell too. But Connor Bell, he's a listener of the pod. One of his questions is like, is there a point in this sport, because CrossFit just continues? It's a never ending. You're just constantly grinding. You're working out. There's so many repetitions, so much work, such high intensity. Is there ever a point where you're like, you get to the point you're like, fuck this. Like, what am I doing? Like, do you have those tough days? And take us through what you do to get over them, because obviously you do.
So it's a misconception that thinks like, when you see those like memes that saying like, what people think CrossFitters do. It's like your mom thinks you're doing a Zumba class. You think you're doing like a crazy Spartan, I don't know, thing, or like, you know what I mean? But what we actually do, like as athletes, you got to be smart about it, right? We don't train, we train and then we test. Training is not a full on max effort every single day. You scale back, you do percentages. You don't max out every day. If you are doing that every day, if you're going 100% every day, you're testing every single day, yes, you're going to burn out. Your career is going to be so short. I feel great. I'm like 3,000 years in CrossFit, like dog years. So I'm like 3,000 in CrossFit. I've been doing this for 2012, right? So quite a while. But that's why I take a year off sometimes. Like right now, I took a year off. I'm just training. I'm training to get better, but I'm training. I'm not testing every day. So my intensity is different. My volume is different. I have a coach that programs this, knowing that I am, don't want to burn myself out right now. I'll start leading up to competition. I'll start ramping up the intensity. Ramping up the volume. I'll take deload weeks. There's a huge component to CrossFit. It's not just, let's go to the gym, clang, bang, let's go as hard as we can. 1 rep max, let's go. Not those days are over. You got to be smart. You got to be smart about your energy systems. You got to be smart about effort, right? Not every day is 100%. It's like I do paces. I do pacing. It's like I'm a runner, right? If runners just sprinted every single day, if I'm a 50-meter dash, you got to do different things, right? You got to do different energy systems. You got to do different training protocols. So if I didn't have a good coach, the biggest thing, find a good coach. If you don't have a good coach that actually programs you and towards your needs and making sure you don't burn out, right? I don't crush my hockey players. The younger ones I kind of do, but as they age a little bit higher, you got to be smart the way they train. They have so many injuries. Hockey players are the worst.
Ridiculous.
When I finished hockey, I was like an 80-year-old guy, man. I like this. Could lift my arms on my shoulders. I couldn't squat to parallel. My body was effed up. And then I did CrossFit. That's what healed my body. People like, you get injured in CrossFit. No, CrossFit showed me how bad I am at overhead squatting. It showed me how bad I am at doing a front squat. I couldn't hold the bar like that. I had to get better in those positions. I had to get more mobility, more stability in those newfound range of motion. I'm still struggling every day, but you know what I mean? Like a lot of people will always say that, is the intensity crazy? It's not that bad. I mean, yeah, it's hard, but it's, I've had harder workouts way back in the day. Does that make sense? Yeah. Does that answer his question?
100%. Yeah. And I think it's a case where as long as you have the appropriate coaching, like you said, you're going to develop and over time and progress, because a lot of people, they have that misconception that it's go 24/7, never stop. You're doing Murphs every day, whatever.
Yeah.
You 20 in a row, you step on nails. That's what ruins it, right? Like you got to training your body appropriately and not training to failure every single time, which a lot of people still do.
Yeah, and you nailed it right there. But I think the biggest thing is like understanding the difference between training and understanding the difference between testing. Testing, go all out, baby. That's my regionals. That's my CrossFit game. That's testing. Let's go. Training, it's just that's just a period to get better, not to get burnt out, to get a little bit stronger, right? to get a little bit more mobility, a little more stability, get better skill sets, be able to be more efficient on my handstand walking or my muscle up technique, so I don't waste too much energy, right? So, and then when it's testing, it's like, okay, let's go. Let's try to push the engine. Let's see if I can blow the fuck up, right? I've done that many a times, you know.
Well, yeah, you got to go for it. This is the time of your life. You're not going to do this when you're 60 necessarily, right? You got to take advantage when you're young, when you're still able to, and try and dominate and compete, right? Because we're athletes, that's what you want to do.
Yeah, and like the whole reason why, like I train, or my wife, me, and everyone I train, the reason why we train hard or anything like that. So when I die the same age as everyone else, I'm not going to be in a wheelchair or sipping out a straw or, have, knock on wood, but, I want to be healthy. I want to die the same age, but I want to be going out, in a Corvette with tattoos all over my body, ripping down the road. So I'm going to do some bicep curls, but I want to be, able to live that 80 years, right? Not the last couple of years at a old folks home or anything like that. I want to be healthy. I want to eat healthy to support that, right? And I think we put so much shit into our bodies these days as human beings. Like it's just, it's incredible, right? So,
and the studies prove that weightlifting, making sure that you're getting that cardiovascular work in, is going to benefit you long term, right? And you're ignorant if you say otherwise at this point.
Yeah, and well, time will tell.
We'll see. So last question before we wrap up here. What's your thoughts on the NHL opening up? How do you like the bubble hockey, or have you been following it at all?
Oh, you know what? I don't get to watch the full games. I've been pretty busy at work, but I get to all the highlights on the Instagram and friends sending me the scores and stuff. But I think it's awesome. I'm excited to see hockey. I think a lot of people are watching right now. It's a lot more attention to them too, like on the ice when you're watching it. When you're in the crowd having a couple of beers, watching the game, chatting with your friends, you're not watching the whole plays, but I don't think everyone's laser focused on these guys. So now we can like really see their skill sets and what hockey brings to the table. I think it's awesome too. Like I've watched highlights and the fights are awesome. The intensity is up. I was really worried. I'm like, what the hell is going to happen? Is there going to be fighting? Are they going to be wearing full on bubbles? Are they going to be wearing masks? Like I had no idea. But, watching it, I was like, wow, these guys are just itching to play. Like these guys are wanting it. It's like playoff hockey right now. This is awesome. So I think the intensity is there, right? These guys are like, man, I've been locked in my house. I just want to go run and kill someone over. Kachuk throwing bombs already, fighting. I love this stuff. That's why hockey's the best sport. Change my mind. Change it. Try it.
You can't. You won't. It won't happen. Spin Chicklets said it best. They were saying, the guys are like, they've been wrapped up, like you said, for 2 months. They just want to get out there and bang bodies, get out, and they're all fired up.
They're wild animals, man. You can't cage a tiger. Then you go out there and eat. So they're out there, babe. Hockey players. Love them. Different breed.
So the final question. With the podcast here, with what we're doing, we're trying to create a platform for athletes to learn, grow, basically bounce ideas off of each other, create an athlete forum. What would be your best recommendation for younger athletes who are training, trying to get to that next level, become the best athlete that can be? What would be your best couple tips, tricks, pieces of advice that you would give to that younger generation?
Enjoy the process. That was a no-brainer. The biggest thing is, the reason why I quit hockey after I played Cornell, I played a little bit in Texas, like minor pro, was I hated it. I didn't love the game. I was so pressured. There's so much pressure on me. It just became like not fun anymore. So don't overstress it. Take a day off and you take a day off. Enjoy your family, enjoy your friends. The biggest thing is don't burn yourself out, right? Enjoy it. Do it because you love it, not because you have to do it. And if you find the love of it, right, then it's going to be a long journey, right? It's going to be a fun, long journey. As soon as it starts becoming fun, CrossFit stopped becoming fun for me too after 2015. I literally, I trained so hard that I'm like, man, I hate this. I don't even like working out anymore. So then I had to pull back a year, right? So you got to do it because you love it. Don't burn yourself out. Don't take things too serious, right? You'll get better. Just enjoy the process, right? Doesn't happen overnight, right? And have a good support system. right? And, you know, I was blessed to have my wife who supports me every single thing I do, whether it be nutrition, whether it be my drinking buddy or going golfing or anything, right? So, you know, have a good support system. My family has been amazing. Everyone around me, my community, my gym, that's what helped me like do what I do and, you know, have passion for it. So, you know, that's the biggest thing I can say.
Some wise words from Joe Scali, Scali Fit on Insta and Twitter, I believe, right?
No Twitter. I had no time for that. Instagram is Scali Fit, and yeah.
Here we go. I love it. Well, Joe, thank you again for coming on the Athletes Podcast, man. Really appreciate it, and look forward to getting a workout in when I'm back in BC.
You better. All right.
We'll be
See you,
challenging
boss.
on that strap until then.
Yes, sir.
All right, take care. Thank you for tuning into another episode of the Athletes Podcast.